There is a version of you that wakes up every morning and immediately reaches for distraction, a version of you that starts things and never finishes them, that makes promises to itself at midnight and breaks them by noon, that knows exactly what it needs to do and still does nothing. You know that version. You've been living with it for years. The Stoics had a name for this version of you. They called it the unexamined life. And Marcus Aurelius, emperor of the most powerful empire on earth, wrote about this version of himself in his private journal. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But here's what most people miss. He wasn't writing that for inspiration. He was writing it as a war cry against himself. This video is about that war, the war you must wage, not against the world, not against other people, but against the soft, comfortable, excuse-making version of you. Sit down. This is going to be direct. Let's start with the truth that nobody wants to say. Your weakness wasn't given to you. You built it. Brick by brick, day by day, every time you chose comfort over effort, every time you hit snooze, every time you said tomorrow, every time you scrolled when you should have worked, every time you quit when it got hard, you trained yourself to be weak, and the bad news is, you're very good at it now. Epictetus, who was born a slave, a man who had no freedom, no property, no rights, said this: "Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems." Think about that. A man with actual chains around his wrists was telling free people that their biggest prison is the one they built inside their own head. The weak self doesn't live in your circumstances. It lives in the stories you tell yourself about your circumstances. I'm too tired. I didn't have a good upbringing. The timing isn't right. People like me don't succeed at things like this. That is the voice of the weak self. And every time you listen to it, you feed it. Every time you obey it, you strengthen it. Marcus Aurelius understood this. He was emperor. He had every excuse to be soft. Servants for everything, power, wealth, comfort. And yet every morning he wrote notes to himself, challenging himself, pushing himself, reminding himself not to become what his position allowed him to become. He wrote, "Confine yourself to the present, not yesterday's failures, not tomorrow's fears. Right now. What are you doing right now?" The weak self lives in the past and the future. It survives on regret and anxiety. The disciplined self lives in this moment, this breath, this action. That is where the rebuild begins. Most people have been sold a lie about discipline. They think discipline is about motivation, about hype, about waking up fired up every day. It's not. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are weather. They change without warning. Discipline is architecture. It's what you build so that when the feeling disappears, and it always does, the structure holds anyway. Seneca wrote in his letters, "It is not that I'm brave, it is that I know what is worth fearing and what is not." That is discipline, not the absence of weakness, but the clarity to act despite it. Here is what true Stoic discipline looks like in practice. First, you stop waiting to feel ready. Readiness is a trap. You will never feel ready for the hard thing. Marcus Aurelius didn't feel ready when a plague killed millions of his citizens. He didn't feel ready when his own generals betrayed him. He didn't feel ready when almost every child he had died before reaching adulthood. He acted anyway, because he understood a fundamental Stoic truth. Action creates clarity, not the other way around. You don't think your way into discipline, you act your way into it. Second, you stop rewarding yourself for starting. This is a modern disease. People celebrate making a plan. They buy the journal, they set the alarm. They tell 3 people about their new routine, and then they do it for 4 days and stop. The Stoics were not impressed by intention. They were only moved by character, and character is built through repeated action over time, not announcements. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." Nobody cares what you said you were going to do. The universe only responds to what you actually did. Third, you embrace the discomfort as the point. The weak self runs from difficulty. It is wired for survival, not growth. But the Stoics taught something radical. The obstacle is the training. Every hard conversation you avoid makes you weaker. Every discomfort you run from makes the next one more terrifying. But every time you face something hard and move through it, you send a signal to your nervous system, "I can handle more than I thought." That signal compounds over months, over years. That is how soft men become iron men. If you want to kill the weak self, you have to know how it operates. It uses the same 4 weapons on every person it inhabits. Weapon 1, comparison. The weak self is obsessed with other people, what they have, what they're achieving, how far ahead they seem, how easy it looks for them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it." He was talking about the cost of reaction, and comparison is the most expensive reaction there is. Every hour you spend measuring your life against someone else's is an hour you didn't spend building your own. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control. Some things are in your control, most things are not. Another person's life, success, looks, talent, not in your control. Your effort today, fully in your control. Stop wasting energy on the first category. Pour everything into the second. Weapon 2, the comfortable routine. The weak self is a master of disguise. It will let you build a routine, but it will make sure that routine never actually challenges you. You wake up at the same time, you go through the same motions, you call it discipline. But if nothing you're doing is uncomfortable, you're not growing, you're just maintaining the version of yourself that already exists. Seneca wrote, "Withdraw into yourself as much as you can." He meant go inward, examine yourself honestly. Ask, is what I'm doing actually hard, or am I just performing discipline without doing the real work? Weapon 3, emotional reasoning. I don't feel like it. 4 words, the weak self's most powerful sentence. The Stoics did not believe your feelings were facts. They believed feelings were impressions, initial reactions to events, and that the wise man questions every impression before acting on it. You feel lazy. That doesn't mean you are lazy. You feel afraid. That doesn't mean the thing is dangerous. You feel like giving up. That doesn't mean giving up is correct. Question every feeling. Ask, is this impression true? Is acting on it serving my highest self? More often than not, the answer is no. Weapon 4, the postponed life. I'll start Monday, after this project, when the kids are older, when things calm down. Seneca wrote an entire essay on this, one of the most important texts in all of Stoic philosophy. He called it On the Shortness of Life. He said this, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a great deal of it. Life is not short. You are not running out of time because of nature. You are running out of time because of procrastination. The postponed life is still being lived, just not by you. It's being lived by your weak self, in the name of safety, in the name of waiting for perfect conditions that will never arrive. Kill the postponed life today. Now we build. This is not motivation. This is a framework tested by men who lived under conditions you and I will never face. Step 1, the morning examination. Every great Stoic started the day with a question, not a feeling. Marcus Aurelius started his mornings by reminding himself what kind of people he would encounter that day. Difficult people, ungrateful people, and he pre-decided how he would respond. That is the power of the morning examination. Before you check your phone, before you speak to anyone, you sit, even for 5 minutes. and you ask yourself, what is the one thing I must do today that my weak self would rather avoid? Write it down. That thing becomes your mission for the day, not a to-do list. One mission, the hardest one. Everything else is secondary. Step 2, voluntary hardship. Seneca practiced what he called voluntary poverty, periodically denying himself comforts to prove to himself he didn't need them. He would eat plain food, wear rough clothing, spend time in discomfort by choice, not as punishment, as training. You need to do this in your own life. Cold showers when your body screams for warmth, the long route when the shortcut is easier, the difficult conversation you've been putting off for 3 weeks. These are not about suffering. They are about proving to your nervous system and to your own mind that you are the master, not your comfort. Every time you choose difficulty voluntarily, you shrink the weak self. You prove to yourself it doesn't run you. Step 3, the nightly account. Every night, the Stoics conducted what they called the evening examination. Seneca described this in detail. Before sleep, he would ask himself 3 questions. What did I do wrong today? What did I do right? What could I have done better? Not from a place of guilt, from a place of radical honesty and self-ownership. Most people end their day consuming content, numbing out, falling asleep to distraction. The disciplined man ends his day with an honest audit. That gap between the man who numbs and the man who examines is where the discipline divide happens. Do this for 30 days. You will not recognize the person you are becoming. Step 4, eliminate the escape routes. The weak self survives on exit options. If this doesn't work, I can always go back. I haven't fully committed yet, so it doesn't count if I fail. The Stoics believed in burning the boats, full commitment, no retreat. This doesn't mean recklessness. It means that when you make a decision about who you're going to be, you close the door behind you. You stop giving yourself the option to be weak as a fallback position. The weak self cannot survive without an exit. Remove the exits. Step 5. Build identity before you build habits. This is the deepest Stoic insight of all. Most people try to change their behavior before they change their identity. They say, I want to become disciplined. The Stoics would say, first, decide who you are. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself, I am a Roman emperor. I have responsibilities. I do not have the luxury of weakness. He didn't wait to feel like an emperor. He decided he was one, and then he acted accordingly every single day, regardless of how he felt. You must do the same. Decide, I am a disciplined person. Not, I am trying to be. Not, I am becoming. I am. Present tense, fully committed. Then act from that identity, even on the days the feeling isn't there. Now I have to tell you something most channels won't say. You will not do this perfectly. You will have days where the weak self wins, where you sleep in, where you quit early, where you choose comfort, where the old patterns return like they never left. And that is not failure. That is the process. Marcus Aurelius, the man who wrote the most celebrated journal of self-discipline in human history, was fighting his own weakness until the day he died. He never arrived. He never declared victory over himself. Because the Stoics understood something profound about human nature. Discipline is not a destination, it is a daily practice. You don't kill the weak self once and walk away. You choose to override it. Every morning, every hour, every moment that matters. Epictetus said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Every day you choose discipline is a victory, even a small one. Stack those victories. Don't wait for the transformation to feel complete before you acknowledge the ground you've taken. Every cold shower is ground taken. Every hard conversation is ground taken. Every hour of focused work is ground taken. The weak self shrinks 1 inch at a time, and one day, not in a dramatic moment, not in a single breakthrough, but quietly, on an ordinary Tuesday morning, you will realize that the person who used to make excuses no longer lives here. That is the rebuild. Marcus Aurelius could have been the most comfortable man alive. Instead, he chose to be the most disciplined, not for glory, not for legacy. He didn't even intend for anyone to read his journal. He did it because he understood, at the deepest level, that a man who cannot govern himself cannot be trusted to govern anything else. That truth doesn't belong to emperors. It belongs to you. The question is not whether you are capable of discipline. The question is whether you are willing to wage the war. Every morning is a battlefield. Every temptation is an enemy soldier. Every choice is a weapon. You can pick it up or you can leave it on the ground. The Stoics spent their entire lives picking it up. That is why 2,000 years later, we are still talking about them. What will they say about you? Not in history books, not in philosophy lectures, in your own mind, on your deathbed, when you look back at the life you actually built versus the life you told yourself you were going to build. The time is now, not Monday, not next month, now. Kill the weak self, rebuild with discipline, one day at a time, one choice at a time. If this hit you differently than other videos, it's because it was meant to. Drop one word in the comments that describes the version of yourself you're leaving behind today. Just one word. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share this video with them. Don't explain it, just send it, subscribe, because there's more where this came from. The Stoics are waiting.